Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 20, 2023. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is imploring Jamaicans to consider environmental and climate change issues when deciding where to build their homes. He made the comments on Sunday during a tour of flood-affected sections of St. Andrew and St. Thomas. The Prime Minister pointed out that some persons were living in dangerous areas that heightened their safety risks during natural disasters.
Coming from the tour, by air especially, it is clear that some Jamaicans, have chosen to live in areas which are dangerous to live in because those areas are susceptible to weather events. People have chosen to live on hillsides that are precarious. People have chosen to live very close to river banks, and some even build in river courses. We have quite a number of communities that are perched precariously again on gully banks.
He made the point that while the nation was thankful for no loss of life from the recent heavy rains, that may not always be the case. Mr. Holness remarked that such natural events were becoming more frequent and of higher intensity, pointing out that a 50-year weather event was now occurring once every 2 years. As a result, he lamented that the risk of damage would increase for structures built in danger zones. The Prime Minister highlighted areas in St. Andrew where he said the government would have to put down its foot to prevent persons from building in dangerous zones for their own safety.
We will have that conversation with the people and enforce the legislation that are in place, and maybe we would have to put in new legislation.
Jamaica has become a pathfinder country, committed to 3 to 5 years of expedited actions for the eradication of violence against children. Pathfinder countries are part of a global partnership to carry out Sustainable Development Goal SDG 16.2, which calls for the abolition of all kinds of child violence, abuse and exploitation.
And one of those actions is the development of a national plan of action. So what exactly is the national plan of action? For an integrated response to children and violence, it is really a structured and coordinated approach to addressing issues that are and challenges pertaining to the nation's children as victims and perpetrators and witnesses of violence.
The Education Ministry's Senior Director of the Children's Affairs and Policy Division was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. She says there are several expected outcomes from this development. They include improved public education and the creation of an integrated framework for the efficient coordination, implementation, monitoring and evaluation of the National Plan of Action. The Heart NSTA Trust is looking to revamp and introduce new programs that will make Jamaica's workforce globally competitive. Director of Training Infrastructure Development at Heart, Dwayne Bent, says the entity is in a phase of renewal and is creating programs to enhance workforce skills.
It is important that we zoom in on several sectors that are currently engaged in that. We have our renewable energy sector. We know that energy is important because that is what makes productivity viable and our lifestyle or livelihood most productive. Manufacturing, of course, we know that we must manufacture to export and also to utilize in order to close that trade deficit that Jamaica has had over many years.
Mr. Bent was speaking at a recent JIS think tank session. He cited tourism, the creative industry, information and communications technology, the construction industry and agriculture as the other targeted sectors. Noting that the world is experiencing the 5th industrial revolution, he says it is important that society is equipped with certain skill sets to manipulate new and emerging artificial intelligence.
The machines and the technology that we are bringing into the trust in our training institutions have the capability to take instructions from humans as well as instructions from machines. And this is what we are using to manifest a fully digital training society.
Heart's Director of Training Infrastructure Development has given a 3-year timeline for the implementation or improvement of specific programs at the training entity. The emerging skills that the entity will fill over the next 3 years are plumbing and heating systems, heat ventilation and air conditioning systems, industrial electronics, and renewable energy. Approximately 21,701 students are currently registered under the 6th Form Pathways program, which continues to see increased enrollment. Minister of Education Favour Williams says the increase in student numbers is partly due to a series of parent engagement sessions that have been held across the island. 95 regional multi-school parent-teacher association (PTA) events have been organized across the island.
We had 153 special meetings facilitated with grade 11 students in high schools, including independent schools, and of course resensitization sessions with secondary school staff.
Minister Williams gave the update during the last post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. She also reported that in the last academic year, approximately 43% of students on the program completed 80 hours of work experience, adding that incoming cohorts would be equally engaged. The curriculum for the Sixth Form Pathways program is now accessible at 169 high schools and 40 universities or post-secondary institutions. And finally, Jamaicans looking to enjoy holiday favorites such as picnic ham and smoked chicken are being encouraged to take advantage of the meat processing services offered by the Scientific Research Council (SRC). Persons have up to December 8 to submit cuts of red meat and poultry to the entity's smoked meat facility located at Hope Gardens in St. Andrew. Acting manager for the SRC's Process Development Division, Annalise Aiken-Min, tells JIS News that operations will be closing off early to ensure client submissions can be prepared in time for the holidays. As a hazard analysis critical control point certified entity, Mrs. Aiken-Min is assuring the public that the meats are prepared safely by experts at the SRC and in keeping with international standards.
We have controls in place to ensure that we properly thaw meat. We control allergens and control microbial contamination, and we also cook meat to the required internal temperature. So we have some very thorough checks throughout the process to ensure that we are meeting local and international standards for safe processing of meat and safe handling of meat.
The final product, which is already cooked, will be available within 10 working days after submission. Individuals are encouraged to allow meat to thaw in a refrigerator before dressing and baking it to their liking. The acting manager also advises that finished products are available for purchase at the SRC. These include hams, smoked chicken, sausages, bacon, pork chops, ham bone, and more. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.